Hi, this is David at Splunk. I'm going to be going over an app that I wrote called Preview. It's a very simple app. It's a proof of concept. So the idea for this app is very simple. There's a text edit here. You paste in some data. Then it'll suggest some source types that you might want to consider. And it'll show you the settings for that source type. And then you'll see what those events would look like in Splunk were you to eat this data as that source type. The fundamental idea of this app is rather than requiring the user to do stirp time for time parsing or regexes for line breaking, the fundamental assumption is that all the settings that you'll ever need have been written before by somebody else. So what I've done is I've taken an app that ships with something like 800 source types. And when you paste in this text, it will match this text against those 800 source types, coming back with which ones are most likely correct and which ones are duplicates of others, and basically give you a choice of a bunch of good ones to consider. And you select each one and you see, did it parse out the time properly and did it line break properly? And then you're basically done. So let's go look at it. So when we start Splunk, and you've downloaded it from Splunk base, it's right here. It's called Preview. A simple point-and-click preview and configuration of new data sources. Okay. When you come into the user interface, again, it's brain dead simple. There's really not much to do. You just paste in some data. Here I've just pasted in some data that I had in my and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go select outside that text area. It's going to go run for a minute. I'm going to cut the video. Okay, and we're back. So what it's done is it's gone and generated a list of potential source types to consider. And when I select each one, it will apply the settings for that source type and show me what it looks like. So this one right here is miss. The number indicates how popular it is, but let's sort of ignore that for now. It's sorted from most popular to least popular. If you look at miss, you see that it says should line merge equals false, and each one of these is a separate event. And you see that this is kind of wrong right here, this event. 0 replication volume found. There really is no date here, and I don't want a separate event broken here. If you look at the timestamps, they look correct. Let me go to the next source type. So I'm going to go down to Splunk miss 3. Okay, this one looks correct. You see that these two lines are together, these two lines are together, and so on. And this is basically saying max timestamp look ahead is 40. That was the only setting used. So it basically broke the timestamps right around here vertically. In all likelihood, you probably didn't have to do anything in Splunk that it would have handled this case properly. But let me just go through a few different variations. Again, if you would have selected this source type, right, all the events would be stuck into one. If you looked at this source type, then things would be broken down. Even blank lines would be separate events. So each one of these source types produced different results. It'll dedupe things that produce the same results. So each one of these are different. The max days ago equals 1. So what that did, it took the date. You can see the date is wrong now. It's using today's date. If this really is January 16th, it's wrong. But you can see that each one of these settings produces different results, and that's really nice. These look generally correct, but this obviously is not what we wanted here. And you can see it was looking for lines with a greater than sign in them to break on. Same thing here. We're looking for multiple blank. We're looking for basically blank lines, and then it'll break the event, and so on. You get the idea. Let me try a different source. This data is actually pretty hard for Splunk to get out of the box. So what you have is a bunch of hash marks and the date, and it sounds simple enough, but the problem is you get these multi-lines that often have dates within them as well, and that will often fool a lot of the other regexes that are common. So let's go give it a run. And we're going to cut the video again. Okay, and the results are back. So once again, we have our events, we have all the source types that it suggested, and their settings. The first one is miss, and you can see that this is not what we want. The events are breaking on every line. Let's go to the next one, send mail. Again, this is a very difficult source type the way these are. You have a bunch of hash marks that are indicating where the date is. And this also did not get things right. This one looks promising, but then you see that it was falsely misled. It was misled by the date on this line. So let's go on. Progress under the hope that something is there. This looks good. I think this one is it. Max events, max timestamp look ahead. Okay, so the way this one works, very nice. The way this one works is that it looks at the max timestamp look ahead. And so it's looking at this date right here, but it's not being misled by the validity date, because to get to the date, you have to go farther than 32 characters in, apparently. And let's look at the dates. June 3rd, everything looks good. This looks correct. Let's see if we can make this problem even harder. We're just going to go and put this timestamp right on the border. We're going to even take off the Thursday. We're going to make this really hard. And we're going to say go. And we're going to see what happens. No more max timestamp look ahead cheats. They're not really cheats, but you get the idea. I'm hoping we can find something even better. Okay, and we're back. Now let's go look at what we have. So we've got new source types. And again, we have a problem with this max look ahead. We've done it. Okay. We have a source type called ECM, and it requires a time prefix of ###. That's exactly what we wanted. That's great. So once again, there is a solution generally out there for almost any source type, and by sharing it, we can prevent the user from having to do a stirp time or a regex. And again, this is a proof of concept. There clearly could be better user interface. Any feedback or suggestions, please send to David@Splunk.